They were a little more forgiving at the local level.
She goes, if you wanted to do popcorn, we would have to have a 3-compartment sink, and then we'd have to inspect the floors, the walls, and the ceiling. Well, it's just the
Cement
tile
bunker.
floor, tile
Oh, it is
ceiling,
done.
so that's probably not gonna work. The kitchen, the countertops are for mica, so that's not gonna probably work.
I don't know how we survived our childhood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Them
just start
garden
asking
hoses
kids to
darn near
pop
killed
up
me.
lemonade stands.
County will swing by and shut
I
that
know, I
down,
did
too.
one for my daughter this last week, and I was like super nervous, and I was like Googling if I was serving the wrong thing, or, you know, if
I'm gonna
I'd get
call it
trouble.
in.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it
The other
in.
thing is, I think they're a little bit more lenient if you do like going into more of it's a different level of thing because it's longer period.
It's also a permanent structure.
It's like permanent, yeah.
Whereas I was doing a mobile, and they're like, well, as long as you don't kill anybody, they're.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
What was your mobile?
I never got it off the ground, but I wanted to do a dirty soda.
Oh, yeah.
But life.
We can start, we got 3.
Oh. Okay, are you on the?
Yep, we're
YouTube?
good.
Okay. Calling to order the Park and Board meeting, April 27th, 2026 at 6 PM. We have the oath of office tonight.
Yep, so Gary did renew his term, and this is just part of our procedure, so Chair, if you want to read and Gary follow, repeat after her, and we'll take care of that.
Okay. I, Gary Mills,
I, Gary Mills,
have been duly appointed to the Committee of Byron Park Board
having been duly appointed to the Committee of Byron Park Board
for 3 years commencing April 27th, 2026.
for 3 years commencing April 27th of 2026,
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the Byron Park Board
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the Byron Park Board
for the City of Byron, County of Olmsted, State of Minnesota, to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God.
for the City of Byron, County of Olmsted, State of Minnesota, to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God.
Okay, get your signature. Pass that down. And roll call. Members present tonight is Gary Mills, Josh Boss, Katie Savage, Council Advisor Justin Blom, and Public Works Director Tom Rickey.
Melissa did call and let me know that she has an excused absence for tonight.
Okay. Moving on to approving the agenda. Tom, is there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, I would like to add one item under new business, 7.3, Byron Park signage design. You have stuff on the dais for you.
And then call for motion with the recommended changes.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? And the consent agenda. Any changes or recommendations for the minutes? Call for a motion.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
I second the motion.
All in motion, or all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And Park and Board minutes for March 2023, 2026.
That was part of the consent agenda. We'll
Oh,
move to
move to
communications.
number 4. Communication reports and petitions. Any items for review, Tom?
None unless you guys have comments.
No comments?
Do I read through those?
Yep.
So city council minutes for March 10th, 26, Byron Community Newsletter in April, and the monthly budget for March. Any unfinished business? BCRC concession stand?
Yeah, so if you guys remember on the last meeting, we did have people that kind of came forward to operate to the concession stand, and it was decided that the city run it this year to try to get a feel for it. I have been working diligently on trying to get a permit. That's pretty much the last phase of it. I've been notified by Olmsted County that this will be a decision based by the Minnesota Department of Ag for our permitting. After discussions with them, it turns out because we don't have a 3-compartment sink and some other items within the concession stand, that we cannot have food exposed to open air food. So if we want to, basically what I'm looking forward to this is to, we can only do prepackaged everything now. So we could do pop, frozen treats, all the candies and all that kind of stuff. It's a little bit different than what we had talked about last time, so I just wanted to circle back with you and let you know that's where I'm at on that, and just kind of looking for a motion to move forward with just the prepackaged items this year, and then start working towards budgetary numbers of what that would cost us and what we need to do to the concession stand to get it into that next level or tier of service for the concessions.
One question.
Yep.
So I haven't heard anything about this, but let's say that they have a big tournament down there this year. Is it going to be available that maybe some trailer vendors would be able to be down there to handle the tournament, or?
That is something we could discuss, as far as, because we can't, obviously, we're not going to be able to offer the food. So I don't know how that would work especially, but I think that would be something that we would actually discuss, because we could still have the candy and everything on that side of it and then have that ability. So that would be something that we could probably look into.
I'm just kind of looking at, in case something would happen, I'm just looking.
Yep.
Worst case scenario, so.
And you might ask, because we've had like other businesses that ran the concession stand in the previous years, that followed, their license followed them. They had gotten a license based on what their businesses were too. So that's why they were having that ability. But I'm not allowed to get a license through the same place. I'm gonna have to go to the State Department of Ag. So that's the same thing, but different.
And I'm just wondering if not having like not having them in the open air food, is there a way or option, even if it's the park or the softball fields there, to have like one of those grills like campsites have, where the grill's permanently set up, people can bring their own?
Yeah, I mean,
I understand the long term, if the goal is to sell it, that wouldn't
Right.
be feasible, but if
Right.
something is needed this year, or what you guys are looking for.
It comes down to, my understanding is the for sale. If you're selling the product is where we're getting into it. Now, if you were at the ball fields for a game and somebody said, hey, you want a hamburger, and you took the hamburger, you're at your own risk for that, so.
But then we wouldn't want to necessarily install it if we get this rolling in the next year, and
If
then
you get it
people will
rolling.
think they can
Right.
come and grill, then we're kind of negating ourselves.
Right.
Could it be something, since we've talked, with this intern coming on, I mean, not to continue to pile things on their plate. My concern with the food trucks, what I think is a great idea, Gary, but I think depending on who you talk to, either you have to get like a financial security with them to come out, or someone to at least make calls and coordinate and say, hey, we think there's going to be 400 people out here, you want to give it a shot. Is that something that they could spend a few minutes doing on those
Absolutely,
bigger
because
weekends?
typically if somebody's gonna host a tournament, I'll know about that here pretty soon, because they actually put the deposits down on the fields. That is part of our requirement for that, so we would know that well in advance. And by that time, we could, we would be able to start saying, okay, their goal is to have 16 teams, so, I mean, that's gonna ring to food vendors, should they, 16 teams times, 12 kids per team, or 15 kids per team times 2 parents, whatever, so that, yes, that would be something that would easily be able to be facilitated.
Okay, so moving on, just prepackaged items for this year.
Yep, I'm looking for you guys to move forward with only the prepackaged items, just to get something available.
I'll make a motion to go along with the prepackaged items for the concession stand.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Moving on to new business, BCRC electrical upgrades.
Yep, so this has been in the works through, we did have this in our CIP. We put in some money for electrical upgrades. I did have a chance to meet with multiple different organizations that utilize that space out there, and that's the one thing that we're having trouble with is more and more need for electrical. So I did provide a sketch of what that would look like, and based upon I had in my memo here, we had representatives from the Good Neighbor Days, the Farmers Market, Burfest, Summer Concert Series, the Chamber, and the one I did not get in here was the Diversity Council, was represented there as well. If you remember, the Diversity Council did the BBQ and some other events, I think, Justin, that you guys are looking at. And the concert series, are you guys taking the concert series?
We're part of the we're taking over the concert series. So I just figured whatever worked for the concert series in terms of electrical would
Right.
work with the BBQ too.
So basically, based on that sketch that's in there, is we would look at bringing power down and then along the east side of that parking lot. And then we would have to put our meter set in a transformer, and then we would run out, and I think it's every 100 feet, we would have a board that would have, a 50 amp, a 30 amp, and 2 receptacles of 20 amp. And then you would only have 50 feet to go back either way from one of those. And they came up with 4 of those stations along there. That would help facilitate for like Good Neighbor Days would be, your food trucks in the first ones, your bands in the end one down towards the south end of it. But I just wanted you guys to approve that type of a layout. Now, granted, we might find out that we want 230 amps, that with that discretion, but that type of a layout is what I'm looking for you guys for approval.
Any questions?
And we did have a lot of good discussion. I was unaware that the farmer's market even used power. I'm like, and the example I used at the meeting was, I thought they just put like cucumbers on a card table or something. But I guess, I haven't been there, but now I'm very intrigued and want to probably hit a couple of them this summer. But it's not, farmer's market is not, I don't think, the correct term for it. But they're upwards of, 70 different things out there. So it must be pretty impressive, but they look for power because they have people that want to come out and have a brand come out and play and stuff, so.
And maybe I'm not recalling, right, but so the concert series that we usually have out here is getting moved down to those
Yep.
fields, and then the BBQ is going to
Because
be moved there
we're
as well?
actually looking at, and based on like the concert series and the Good Neighbor Days, is so what we did is we had budgeted money put aside and we're applying for a grant. And we're looking at building a permanent stage. Think of it more like a deck, kind of off in that far south corner, because that's the farthest away from the residents. And then we don't, as city staff, we don't have to, like Good Neighbor Day week, we have to set the stage up here, come back the next day, get it, pick it up, disassemble it, take it out to there, reassemble it. So we're trying to streamline this, and obviously the ball field has the most parking, is what it really kind of comes down to.
Sure.
So my goal was to bring everybody in and try to plan for where do you see your event in 5 years, so we're not coming back here in 2 years saying, oh, now we got to go get more power because we have this going on. So based on what my feedback through a council member that has experience with electricity, this is a suggestion that he's making. So I just want to get your guys' blessing to move forward with that.
Call for motion?
I move we recommended the plan as presented.
Second that?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Sand volleyball courts.
Yep, so there's been a lot of discussion about this, and my, Public Works is ready to, get going on this before the season really ramps up here, but I just wanted to circle back, as part of that whole kind of upgrade that we did down at Valley View. I think you've all had a chance to see that or maybe even walk through that. Are we still content on putting a sand volleyball court back in there? Or are you guys looking at the possibility of moving all sand volleyball courts somewhere else? Or have one in Valley View and then have staff look for another spot for an additional one? They're pretty inexpensive. It can all be in-house work. It's just excavating out and dumping sand back in, so it's not real high-level, work that needs to be done. But I just want to make sure that we're on the same page and that you guys still want to move forward for sure with the one in Valley View, and then have us look for another park that might be suitable for a sand volleyball.
As someone that lives there at Valley View, I watched people weekend after weekend last summer come and set up volleyball courts to play out there.
So and the reason I ask is, and I should have put that in my memo, is the actual grass volleyball, they call it now, is beginning to get very popular. And it's exactly what you said. I just happened to be up in the cities this weekend and way up in Champlain Park, and I went by a park, and there must have been 50 nets out in this park, and it was a grass volleyball tournament. So I'm not sure, I'm kind of looking for feedback. Is sand the way, if you guys are hearing anything, is sand what we want to go back to? Or do we look at putting sand in Valley View and then exploring this grass volleyball option and other things, which would just consist of 2 poles and a net, But that is getting to be a bigger thing, this grass volleyball.
I didn't realize that. I think in terms of just having a permanent structure as far as the net goes is what people are looking. I do think they were setting those nets up because the net wasn't there that they're used to in the sand courts that they were used to. And I think people like to play on those. I mean, I know I probably prefer to fall on sand instead of grass. So I would say sand.
And I have no opposition to returning the one that was there. I guess just I've seen everything else get used, the pickleball courts, the basketball courts, and I don't recall as much. The sand, and again, don't have any opposition to us doing a second, but knowing that the grass thing is a thing, like how much were the sand courts used prior, before this last year of not having them?
So it's funny you say that. Previous to Justin being on the park board, there was a different council member, and we had talked about this before. And I made the comment that, I've never really seen anybody out there, but then again, I'm in town during work hours, not during non-work hours. And it just so happened that night, I got a picture from that council member that was at the park board meeting of the sand volleyball courts, and there must have been 20 people. So, I mean, I think it's one of those hit and misses, but it might be one of those where it does get utilized, especially now with the amenities that we have there. Maybe that would be, well, let's just throw this in case we want to do that too, type of a thing.
And I think it makes sense to put it back for sure. And again, no opposition even looking for a second location. I guess I just maybe want to see what kind of usage this one gets to, and then maybe make that decision on where we put the second based on how much this one gets used, especially with as much green space in any of our parks we can set up, or people can set up, for grass volleyball too.
Yep.
I think it's what we said we were going to do.
Yep, and that's why
Prior to
I circled back with that, just to make sure that we were still going to be on that same page, and, that you guys hadn't heard any other thing there where you want to kind of change direction. But now that it's getting favorable, before I sent staff out to do it, I just want to circle back. So I'm just looking for you guys to, make it official to say, yes, continue with replacing the Valley View one.
Do you have an idea of where in Valley you guys would put it?
Well, our options are pretty wide open. I think our goal would be is to not pack it close to anything. There is, like storm sewer and a sanitary sewer that run through the park, but that would have no bearing. I would be comfortable building it right over the top of that because it's just sand, you know? So I guess what I would do is I would find the biggest area that, you know, keeps everything kind of spread out a little bit more.
Sure. Okay, call it for a motion on the sand volleyball courts.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that they put the sand volleyball court back at Valley View Park.
I'd second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay. And the addition of the Byron Park signage and design.
Yep, so I apologize, we finally just got this here at like 2 o'clock this afternoon, so it was not able to be put in the agenda, but I didn't want to wait another month. So we've had in the CIP dollars to enhance all of our park signage. And when I say enhance, I should use the word put signs in our park.
I was gonna say.
There's a random one here and there, but that's kind of about it. So we came up with, we got 6 options here. And if you can see the dimensions, you see that they're not small. I mean, it's 6 foot wide by 36 high. And really, and the other thing that we took from it too when we sent it over to get some options was the need for the address. So these will all have the address of that park placed right on them. But what I'm looking for is and I will say internally, it came down to something from 1, 2, or 3. The other ones were just kind of ones that they threw out there, but they're Alumilite metal, 1/4-inch Alumilite metal, and then there'll be 4x4 metal posts that it's all fastened to. And then staff will assist in digging holes and placing them. They gave us cost options for double-sided or single-sided. That will depend on the park, where, you know, how we place them. So, you know, and the one I think of is like the soccer field. You know, we would put a double-sided one there because you would put it perpendicular to 20th Street, so you see it each way, instead of facing it towards 20th Street type of a deal. So I'm not concerned about that as much as I would like to figure out what you guys are thinking for 1, 2, and 3. And the biggest difference is the logo, the Byron logo.
I like the look of number 2.
Same.
Oh, it's spread across, it just looks more even. Is there like gonna be like rules on these signs for like park rules?
Nope,
Or is
these
it
are
just gonna
the
be the sign?
stuff. Because those would all be different depending upon which kind of park you're in.
And we're looking for one sign for all the parks, we're just,
Yeah, we want to make sure all of
They're
them
all gonna
are
be
the same.
uniform? Yep.
Yep, and right now, the few that we have out there, some are on brown signs, some are on blue, some are not there, some are over here, you know, type of a deal.
Yeah, number 2 also stands out for me, out the 3.
I'm fine with number 2.
all
But
in,
I'm not going to influence you at all, but I will say that internally, everyone picked number 1. But that doesn't matter. I said, but it's up to the park board anyway. And the reason is because the Byron is bigger. But you guys are, I don't want to sway that. I'm perfectly fine with number 2.
I think number 2 is still more aesthetically pleasing, so I'm gonna stick with 2, but.
Yep, it kind of centers everything in there.
Yeah.
Okay, all in motion for number 2?
I'll make a motion that we go with sign number 2.
I'd second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Public comments. Call for public comments. Public comments. All right, time to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second that motion?
It is 6:23 PM. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed?